1 million people a year travel to Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas, because this crime was never explained adequately.
I haven't looked too much into the JFK assassination, so I don't really know if I believe it was Lee Harvey Oswald killed John F. Kennedy. Let's follow the trails, collect some evidence here. Listen, if anybody's gonna crack the case, it's First Look and a reality TV personality. Dallas, Texas, a vibrant metropolis where history, culture, and innovation collide. I'm a history buff. I'm very excited to immerse myself into the culture of Dallas. Take a look at the people and events that really shape this city. When I think of Dallas, I think of Cowboys, both the football team and real-life Cowboys. Welcome to Dallas. I think of fried food. Oh, wow. And the fact that JFK got assassinated here. It's a little morbid, but history.
Dallas has struggled with being labeled the city of hate, or the city that killed the president.
With the majority of Americans believing JFK was killed in a conspiracy, I've come to the scene of the crime to see if I can shed any light on one of the most disputed events in history. So the official theory goes like this. On November 22nd, 1963, President Kennedy was in Dallas to drum up support for the upcoming election. He was traveling by motorcade down this 10-mile route to give a speech at a trade mart. At approximately 12:30 p.m., Lee Harvey Oswald fired shots at the president from this spot right here, the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository. X marks the spot. Just after the shooting, Oswald runs into this boarding house where he was staying. He grabs his handgun and his coat and leaves again. Oswald ducked into this theater, and at 1:51 p.m., police had him in custody. But what really happened on November 22nd, 1963? My first stop in my search for the truth is the 6th floor museum at Dealey Plaza.
So this is the sniper's perch. Lee Harvey Oswald was hiding behind these boxes, and we believe that Lee made the shots from this window.
Oswald was working here. He was working at the book depository.
Yes. This is the same model rifle that Lee Harvey Oswald used to assassinate the president. It was found right behind these boxes with his fingerprints.
And then the stairway is right over there.
He ran right down to the 2nd floor, and then he walked out the front door and escaped.
But not everyone buys into this theory. Many JFK guides offer tours of that fateful day, and Robin Brown has his own unique way of presenting his perspective.
Jared, I know what happened to Kennedy, and it had nothing to do with Lee Harvey Oswald. This is the motorcade route.
Oh, wow. So this is the road that the president was traveling down?
This is the roads. Everything's the same 60 years later. Kennedy's enemies chose Dealey Plaza because they needed a location where his car would be almost crawling. They also need a place where the president will be surrounded by rifles. There's a shooting team on the 2nd floor of the Daltex building. There's a shooting team in the 6th floor of the school book building. There's 3 shooting teams below the president waiting for him. And those X's represent, Jared, where the president is when he grabs his throat, but the car never stops. The car keeps moving, slow but steady, 14 miles an hour, 14 miles an hour. Right here, at this moment, is where Kennedy receives that headshot.
The cheers of the crowd almost muffle the 3 shots. The assassin's aim is deadly.
Do you think the driver of the car was also in on it?
Yes.
So how does Oswald fit into this entire story?
He's a patsy. He didn't kill anyone. He keeps repeating that. I haven't killed anyone. Lee Oswald did not fire a rifle on November 22nd, 63.
As my quest for clarity continues.
Welcome back to 63.
Yeah, really, huh? I head to the rooming house where Oswald was staying at the time of the assassination.
This is Mr. Lee's little room. This is the actual bed that he slept on.
I just came from Dealey Plaza. President Kennedy gets shot. What happens after that?
The president's shot at 12:30. Walter Cronkite comes on the air and announces to the world that the president's been shot at 12:40. It goes back to the soap opera As the World Turns. That's when Mr. Lee comes walking back into this house. The housekeeper, she says, "Do you know what happens?" He doesn't react to her. He doesn't say a word. During the short time that he was in his room, the housekeeper hears two honks out front. She looks out the window and it's a police car.
Why would there be a police car honking outside?
That's right.
It just seems almost too coincidental to not have some sort of connection.
Exactly.
Chills everywhere. It feels like the more details we get, the less of an idea I have about what exactly happened on November 22nd. The mystery then leads to the Texas Theater, where Oswald was arrested. This is the arrest photo of Lee Harvey Oswald.
That's
that
right.
was taken 60 years ago, right there.
Yeah. Texas theater lore is that the owner at the time actually removed the chair that Oswald was sitting in and took it home. He was like, this is gonna be worth some money someday. So he just dropped a filler chair in this spot. So what the authorities took for evidence
Fake chair?
was a fake chair.
Why would the FBI want the chair? My mind went to they were trying to get his fingerprints to test the rifle.
But they had him in custody. So why wouldn't they have just taken his fingerprints in custody?
Why wouldn't they take his fingerprints?
Nah.
And then the trail goes cold, leaving just one question. Who do you believe killed John F. Kennedy? Killed John F. Kennedy. Killed John F. Kennedy. Killed John F. Kennedy.
The evidence points to Lee Harvey Oswald being the sole assassin.
It definitely doesn't make a lot of sense that this one guy would have been able to pull off what was pulled off.
I believe it was a conspiracy. Lyndon Johnson is the head of the snake, CIA, and the mob.
The ultimate reason is Vietnam. Everybody in Washington will prosper from a war, and Kennedy doesn't believe in war, and it got him killed.
It's a case that still makes headlines today, and Dallas lays bare the evidence for all to interpret. But you should come and find out for yourself. Forget Billy the Kid. Damon LaFall is a real-life cowboy.
I tell them I'm a Dallas Cowboy, and automatically they assume football player. I say,
Exactly,
No,
yeah.
I'm a real Dallas Cowboy.
Also known as the hip-hop cowboy, Damon has combined his love of hip-hop and horses by spinning to the beat of the extreme sport of rodeo. In popular culture, when we think of cowboys, we think of John Wayne and those westerns, but that's not really an accurate representation. More than a quarter, at least, of these cowboys were black cowboys.
Absolutely. In the early days, I would take it back to slavery. I think we were the workforce, and a lot of the work was done on ranches, on horseback, and that's what kind of created this cowboy. The black cowboy used to be responsible for taking herds from one location to another. But once the railroad came in and they were able to put the cows on the train, a lot of cowboys found a platform in local rodeos. A black cowboy by the name of Bill Pickett, he invented steer wrestling. He would physically jump down on him and with his bare hands wrestle him to the ground.
How big is this guy?
I don't know that he was very big, but
Wow,
again,
he's very strong.
Absolutely, that's what's needed, strength, not size. How athletic these guys have to be good at rodeo events is nothing short of what a football player, a basketball player, and the kind of shape that they have to be in.
Oh my God! And it's the story of the black cowboy that inspired the Heritage Rodeo. What is the importance of the Heritage Rodeo?
This platform was created to pay homage of a black cowboy and tell the story of a black rodeo contestant. Yeah, back in the 60s, rodeoing was a different place, you know what I mean? Because the world was in a different place as far as racism is concerned. How segregation worked in a lot of different areas, it was the same for a black cowboy. what we ended up doing is kind of what I'm doing now. We end up creating our own space.
Yeah.
And now I would say that it's a pretty shared vibe out there.
White boy moves right there. Just.
You are one of the first Black American bull riding champions.
Yes, sir. Someone that looks through like you, come from that same background, they might have doubts until they see it done for the first time, kind of like I did. I didn't see as many Black people, African American people riding bulls at that point when I first came, but I just wanted to try to lead the sport better than I came into it.
Okay, this woman is 65 years old and she looks younger than me. And you say you still ride at 65?
Still ride, yeah. Texas has always had a large population of Black cowboys. Wherever we went, everyone was always absolutely amazed at the fact that there's Black people that ride horses.
How long have you been performing for?
Since I was 2.
2?
I grew up with it. My whole family rodeo when I was born. And they put me on a horse and I just fell in love.
It goes without saying, damn it, it's incredible what you do. You're telling the story of the Black cowboy, which is a very important story to be told. The idea of what a cowboy was in my head is very different than what it is now.
Right.
The rodeo was such a great party, live music, cowboys, the bull riders, but it also had such a great story about perseverance and the history and honoring the ones that came before. My first rodeo was great. Now I get to say, next time I go, this is not my first rodeo.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to the State Fair of Texas.
For an authentic taste of Lone Star culture, look no further than the annual State Fair of Texas.
They always say everything's bigger in Texas, including cowboys.
You didn't have your picture with Big Tex. Were you really here at the fair?
Established in 1886, it is one of the oldest and largest fairs in the nation.
Howdy, folks.
It's my first time at a state fair. The sheer size is impressive.
This is part of Dallas.
And playing tour guide for me today is celebrity chef and Texas native Tiffany Derry. Tiffany Derry in the house.
No, Jared's in the house at the Texas State Fair.
What does the Texas State Fair mean for you?
For me, it's a chance to be with family and friends. We wait all year for these 24 days and guarantee we're coming more than one time.
This state fair is so big, I feel like 24 days is honestly not enough. Yay!
You cannot separate livestock from Texas.
That cow is 12 times the size of her.
This is what it's about. It's a tradition that won't be lost because of the young generations that's coming up and doing it.
The food here is insanity.
This is my first turkey leg ever.
I think you're doing pretty good.
It's not bad. I really got to get into the tender spot. I didn't know I'd be drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning. Damn.
Welcome to Texas, baby.
Yeah. We've been here 40 years now, going on our 3rd generation. My mother, she had a passion for Mexican food. When she came to Dallas, she says, I want to introduce this to everyone so they can enjoy it. Wow. In fact, people came up and said, what is this? And she said, fajitas. Now we're doing something very different. Last year, my sister created the cha-cha-chata.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. The what?
Cha-cha-chata.
It's a horchata dessert drink with bluebell ice cream in it.
Holy moly.
Try that. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Is it the sweetest thing to touch your lips today?
It's the sweetest thing that's touched my lips in 7 years.
Well, it don't make a woman like my sweet Texas lady.
She's dancing over here. Chef?
Crispy Crazy Corn.
With fire, she's the woman I desire.
Oh, wow. Who would have thought this would go so well together?
They did.
Oh, my God.
Well, we are at Miss Ruth's. This is Miss Ruth right here.
If you don't mind sharing with me, how old are you?
I'm 90. She's the oldest active vendor in the state fair.
What does the Texas State Fair mean to you?
A whole lot of things. I was here before I could have
participate. We were riding the big yellow school bus to Dallas on what we call Colored People's Day. After a few years of boycott, we were finally accepted in 1961. So, since 1961, we have been here.
So we could not walk in here and enjoy this outside of that one day.
Right.
Wow.
Here we are now. I'm proud of you there.
Come on up and get a selfie. That's all I got left in me, selfies. You get the whole thing in, trust me.
What a great way to end the day.
Yeah,
At
baby.
the top of the Texas State Fair.
What impressed you about the Texas State Fair?
The history of the fair, the food,
Y'all did that. Y'all did that.
the camaraderie and the community that this fair has obviously built, and also just seeing all these different types of people come together from all different types of backgrounds.
It's easy to love the Texas State Fair.
Yeah.
Hard to leave, easy to love.
Oh, thank God this thing's not going faster, because with all the food I ate, there could be some poor souls down there.
Oh, we're getting off.
All right, this is President Biden signing Juneteenth into law. There you are, pumping your fist. No, the Vice President's holding your hand. I didn't even notice.
I dropped it.
Oh, you dropped it. I didn't even know you dropped the pen.
I did. I was so happy. I could have burst. To just know I was in the White House with the president and the vice president. I could have done a holy dance, but the kids say I'm twerking.
The holy dance looks like a twerk?
That's what the kids say when I do it.
Known more for her walking than her twerking, 97-year-old Opal Lee has put Texas firmly on the map by making Juneteenth this country's 11th federal holiday.
I simply decided that if a little old lady in tennis shoes was walking about the country, talking about Juneteenth, somebody would take notice.
And take notice, they did.
87 degrees, probably feels like 100 out there, but that is not going to stop Dr. Opal Lee.
Having walked from Fort Worth to Washington, D.C. in an attempt to draw attention to her mission, President Biden finally enshrined June 19th into law to commemorate the end of slavery in the U.S.
So you're originally from Marshall, Texas.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Oh, I didn't know what a white person looked like till I got to Fort Worth. My family moved here because my dad was looking for work during the Depression. Well, our parents bought a house on Annie Street, and on the 19th of June, a white mob gathered. Those people tore that place asunder. They drug the furniture out and burned it. They did despicable things. But our parents worked hard. They bought us another house in that same neighborhood, and that's the house that I graduated high school.
I am Terrell. That's where you went to school, correct?
Yes, only black high school in Tarrant County.
Wow.
Miss Smith was my homeroom teacher. I was a student that got decent grades.
How do you think attending I Am Terrell shaped you?
The teachers were superb. They knew what we were going to encounter, and they prepared us for it. They never let us forget that we had to excel.
And excel she did, as a school teacher for most of her career. But it wasn't until retiring that her real work as an activist began.
Miss Opal, you wanted to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. How did that even begin?
I met Lenora Rawa. She was in her 90s. The city of Fort Worth had asked her to record what blacks had contributed to the growth of Fort Worth. She couldn't find anything written. So she started the Tarrant County Black Historical and Genealogical Society. I was one of its members. One of its programs was Juneteenth.
And thus began a decades-long campaign where Miss Opal led 2.5-mile walks across the country to symbolize the 2.5 years it took for the news of freedom to reach the slaves in Galveston, Texas.
We're blessed to mark the day in the presence of Miss Opal Lee, daughter of Texas, grandmother of the movement to make Juneteenth a federal holiday.
What do you want people to know about Juneteenth?
I want them to realize that it means freedom. And I don't mean freedom for black people. I mean freedom for everybody. None of us are free until we're all free. I want people to understand that they can make a difference. I hope I have.
The least we can say is that you've made a difference, Miss Opal.
Thank you. I'll keep on walking and talking. Maybe somebody will listen.
I think a lot of people are listening.
Love it.